bring that child into a life of Torah, and through the life of Torah, a life of good deeds. That there is something, as we celebrate our blessings during Sukkot and look forward to the end and beginning of the Torah cycle, we say that a life that is being invested in Torah is a life that is worth living and will make a difference in the world. So what we're really saying today is nothing you don't know, but is worth celebrating, is that as we bring one child into the covenant, that child is crucial. The Mishnah tells us that, right? One who saves a life, you save a whole world. So this is your world, and it's a magnificent world to be in. And we are excited to watch the parents that you're going to become, and I think the grandparents are going to be just a bit meshugana. I want this child to be the youngest magician now in the history, to be able to, to be able to pull a chumash out of his because we have magic in the family. But one last word, of course, which is that as we bring this child into the covenant, we talk about the interdependence of life, don't we? We say that this child now is a part of worlds that are bigger and deeper and more transcendent than even his own. We say on this eve of Shabbat Bereshit that this child is needed by us, desperately needed by the Jewish people, that God needs this child in order to affect the dreams of Torah. And that is a covenant that not only will keep our people safe, the state of Israel safe, but to make the world the place imagined by Maseh Bereshit to begin with. And so we celebrate the interdependence and the contingency of life at a Brit Milah. And so this covenant is one that we know that he'll take seriously for the rest of his life. And one last word, which is now you understand when the enemies of Israel wanted to end this Jewish enterprise, one of the things that they wanted to stop was just this covenantal ceremony, because they understood that was one of the keys to our carrying on from generation to generation. And in the words of the psalmist, through every act of every Jewish parent and Jewish couple, Lo amut ki echyeh ve'asaper ma'aseyah. I shall not die but live, and I shall tell of God's radiant actions. We're doing no less this morning.
Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'Avraham Avinu Hitalech lefanai ve'yetamim. The Holy One said to Abraham, our father, walk before me and be upstanding. Just as in return for the many blessings that God promised Abraham, he demanded that he walk honestly and uprightly. We pray that today, as this baby enters the covenant of the Jewish people, that he walk always honestly and uprightly, that he grow to be a credit to himself, to his family, to his community, to the Jewish people. And let us say, Amen. I will ask that you all begin singing in a low voice, Eliyahu Hanavi, and you should know that the sound of the melody will help keep him calm during the circumcision. So this is really a vital part that you all play in the sound. Eliyahu Hatishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Akilati, Bimera De'Yaveinu, Yahweh Eleinu, B'Mashiach Ben David, B'Mashiach Ben David. נפשנו משחת, למען בריתו אשר שם בבשרנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, כורת הברית.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu kayemet al yelad hazeh la'aviv u'limo v'yikaresh shemo b'Yisrael Binyamin Mordechai ben Moshe Ariel ba'onit Le'olam hasto Hodu l'Adonai ki tov Le'olam hasto Binyamin Mordechai zeh hatan gadol yehiyeh Kashem shenichnas l'brit
May God, our ancestors, protect this child, preserve him in health for his mother and his father, and may his name be called among the people Israel Binyamin Mordechai, son of Jeffrey and Lauren Abraham, and in English, Benjamin Mark, or Benny. May he grow to a life of mitzvot, chuppah, and worthy deeds, and let us say together, Amen.
Our name for our son, Benny Mark. Benny, or Benjamin, or Ben, whatever he'll decide, is actually named after two very important people to us. First, my great uncle Ben, who was my grandfather who gets to be here with us today, my grandfather's brother. And my uncle Ben was one of the kindest people I ever knew growing up as a child. And I just am hopeful, and my blessing is that this little Ben is also able to have the kindness that my Uncle Ben had toward everyone in the world. He's also named for Lawrence Papa Bennett, who I did not have a chance to get to know, but I feel like I know him anyway because of all of the stories that everyone talks about him. And I feel like I've learned many lessons from Papa Bennett, even though I never got to meet him. And I know that Papa Bennett was a very important person, and Lauren's going to speak more about him in a minute. But in general, we really love the name Benjamin, which is son of my right hand, which is really for strength. And there's also a special meaning for Benjamin for us because just like Benjamin had a little bit of trouble at childbirth, our Benjamin had a little bit of trouble at childbirth too. But Benjamin turns out pretty fine throughout the rest of Breshit, and we just hope that he turns out to be just as strong as Benjamin does in the Torah. Mark, or Mordechai in Hebrew, his middle name, is named after Lawrence Poppy Milton Zimmerman. I had a chance to get to know Poppy and Milton, and he was one of the funniest guys I knew. We could talk sports all day long, and he loved to read up on all the box scores, and which was always a fun topic of conversation. And my favorite moment actually with Poppy was I had the opportunity at Lauren's cousin's wedding to wheel him around for 3.5 hours in a wheelchair, just the two of us. And we had a blast and just had a chance to talk all day. But he always told it how it was. And his honesty was something that we always really loved and appreciated. And we hope that Benny Mark here is able to take his honesty that he was able to have in his life and bring it with him into his own life. And Mordecai, we love that name because it's also strong. It's a warlike name. And one other final thing is that my mom started the tradition when I was born of naming all of her children with their Hebrew names after important people in the Tanakh, important people in the Bible. And I really like that tradition, and so we wanted to continue that tradition, which is why we came up with Benjamin Mordechai as his Hebrew name.